Hello, welcome to the video, you beautiful people. Hey there, handsome. Yes, you. How are you? How are you guys having a good evening, I hope? It is evening here. We have some more rain, which is lovely. It has been a long day. I had to run my daughter and my granddaughter to another appointment. My granddaughter has gained another pound. Hasn't grown any. She's still like 21, 22 inches, I think. But is doing very well. Doctor was very happy. It's funny, the pediatrician that's seeing my granddaughter is the same pediatrician who saw my daughter, like literally a week after she was born. Well, no. Actually, the pediatrician that saw my daughter when she was a week old was named Dr. Payne. Dr. Payne, the pediatrician. And he was really cool. He was very cool. He was this old guy with an earring, and he was just, he did not bullshit you one bit. He was just like, this is what's going on. This is what you got to do. And, but he loved kids and he was great at it, and he retired. And then Emily started seeing Dr. Good. So going from Dr. Payne to Dr. Good, and Dr. Good is awesome. She is so great. And we got to kind of, Emily had the opportunity to kind of pick the pediatrician prior to birth, and she decided to go with Dr. Good. So it's like this whole big chain that's kind of going along. So I'm very excited about that. But Dr. Good was very happy, and baby's doing great. I got a couple of things. We're going to talk about the content editing tonight. But before we do that, we're going to take care of the moment that you've all been waiting for. Since, God, July, maybe, we have been doing this contest where if you purchased the Queens Road audiobook from Audible, you received a chance to win in the this drawing I was going to do for a hardcover copy of the Queens Road from Falstaff Books, and I was going to sign it for the winner however they wanted me to. So I tallied up all of the entries that I got from various locations. They came at me from every direction. And we ended up with 18 people total in the running. I did do a thing where if you were a member of my Patreon group and you were in the running, you got 2 chances to win instead of 1, because I like money and I need it a lot. So so basically I let it run through the 31st. So here we are now on September 1st. And without any further ado, I would like to announce the winner. The winner is Jennifer Maher. And she has won a copy of the Queens Road hardcover from Falstaff Books. And Jennifer, as soon as I get them, and I'm not sure when the hell that's going to be, but when I do get them, let me know. I will be in contact with you so we can figure out how you want that signed and what you want me to write in it. And then we will get it to you. So thank you so much. And thank all of you who entered. I hope you enjoyed the book. We're going to do more contests and stuff like that. I did a contest a few weeks ago for Ghost Dance Judgment as an ebook. Once we have it out as a paperback and as a hardcover, I'll be doing a similar contest to see if anybody wants to try to win a copy of Ghost Dance Judgment. And I'm going to do some other little contest stuff. I enjoy doing it, and I really appreciate so much you guys coming to the channel, sharing it with other people, subscribing, doing all of that stuff. Means a lot to me, and I really want to thank you guys for that. So we will keep doing more of these kind of things. All right, so that out of the way, we are on to a new month. I've been doing my calendar. I try to especially with all the Patreon stuff, I've been trying to like get my calendar laid out so I have pretty much the whole month out in front of me. And I know the old saying, it says no plan survives contact with the enemy, and it is so freaking true. So I've got it laid out. I've already had to adjust some things. I run a Amber diceless role-playing game online. And we were doing it in person. We were doing a tabletop thing. But then the beer bug hit, and we had to kind of adjust. So we were doing it like every 3 months. We'd get together for a weekend, play all weekend, and then wrap. I'd have no freaking voice left. And then we would go on to, 3 months later, we'd jump in and do it again. So we set up a Discord server. Actually, one of my players was nice enough to set up a Discord server for us. Thank you, Richard. And then we also had one of my players set up an Obsidian portal site for the campaign. Thank you, Ryan. And we have a Wikipedia on there, and it's really cool. It's kind of really grown, and it's all based off of the Chronicles of Amber, which is one of my favorite book series of all time by Roger Zelazny. I highly recommend you check it out. And I'm probably going to do some shows, some videos on Roger Zelazny and on Amber. But anyways, so I'm doing an Amber RPG, and I have been a little bit of slack because I've been doing this, I've been doing Patreon, I've been trying to get the book done, had a granddaughter show up and all this other stuff. So I decided in September I was going to have a weekend where I ran pretty much all weekend in Chronicles of Amber, the online Amber game. Well, I've already had to change the date for the weekend because something else has popped up, and just trying to kind of shuffle and move everything around. I am not complaining because I'm very fortunate to have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of wonderful people to do stuff with. So I'm not going to complain about any of that stuff at all. Let's see here. So we are talking about content and development editing, and I did a little digging around. I found a couple of interesting articles. Why, here's one right here. This is off of wordstream.com blog. I will put the address for it in the description of the video. But it's talking about content editing. And basically content editing is that's my personal favorite kind of editing. Because what you're doing is you are looking at the big picture for the document, whether it is a newspaper article, a short story, a novella, a novel, whatever it is, you are taking the time to read through it and look for the kind of the logistical thread through the document. You're looking at, what is this story about? Does the story make sense? Is the plot solid? Does it hold water? Do you have plot holes? Do you have characters who act one way in one chapter, and then a few chapters down the road, they're acting a different way, and it doesn't make sense? So in some ways, this is the toughest form of editing, in some people's opinion, because it requires you to make value judgments and editorial judgments with very little material to go on. If you're doing, like, for example, line edits or copy edit, well, I was going to say copy edits, where you are saying, okay, well, you need a period here, you need a semicolon here instead of a comma, you did not close off your quote, you need to have this punctuation inside the quote marks, not outside of them, that sort of thing. Those are pretty, that's like math. It either is right or it is not right. There really isn't a middle ground there. There are laws and rules of grammar, and you either follow them or you don't. Now you can get into a fight, and when we get to line editing and copy editing, specifically copy editing, we'll get into a little bit more of is it okay to break the rules? Because lots of writers do. We can talk about that later. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, when you copy edit, you know exactly what, for the most part, you know exactly what is and isn't correct. When you're doing content editing, you have to make a call. Is this okay? I mean, the plot seems a little soft right here. Should I tell the writer he needs to firm this up, or is it okay? And those are all very much value judgments. And that kind of editing is tougher. And there's more room to contest it, argue it, and basically say, you know, this is not how I want it. This also falls under kind of like your branding, and it also falls under like technical writing, which I've done some technical writing. Technical writing pays really well. It is very meticulous. If copy editing is mathematics, technical writing is a class in logic. Technical writing has to be as meticulous and as detailed and as accurate as whether or not you have the right punctuation, whether you have the right, whether things are capitalized, where they should be capitalized, that sort of thing. Technical writing has rules, and you need to follow those rules meticulously. But it is also, in a way, a softer editing, because your technical writing is taking something and breaking it down step by step and then telling someone how to do it. And there is some people are so good at that. I've done it, and it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but it is, it can be a pretty laborious kind of undertaking. So, copy editing would fall under content editing, because what you're doing is you're trying to take some information and convert it into a document, and convey that information to someone else, which is what you're doing when you're telling a story. Stephen King calls it telepathy, but basically you're telling your story out of your brain onto the paper and into someone else's brain. And technical writing is the same kind of thing, except it's just a lot more narrow constriction. You have to, you can't skip a step in technical writing. You have to go through it step by step by step. But technical writing technically does fall under content editing. And like I said, brand voice, which is something I mentioned in the article here. This was written by, who was this written by? Salil Clark Keene. Thank you, Salil. They have here, this is an edit that might be a problem. Someone, they said, thou shalt not kill. And then the next one is, thou shalt commit adultery. So, maybe maybe make sure that got cleaned up, hopefully. Boy, were our faces red. But one of the things is, you're basically, when you're doing an article, say you're writing something for a client. I've ghostwritten editorials and press releases and things like that. Part of what a content editor is going to look for is, does this have the voice and the brand recognition of the person or organization that it's representing? If you're writing a press release for, I'm trying to think. I think we did one once. I did one once for like the National Home Builders Association. I'm not going to say anything else about this particular caper, but part of my job was to look at other press briefings and things like that and say, okay, I've got kind of the voice that they want to convey for this. I did a political editorial once for two local politicians who were wanting to advocate for a certain policy, and it was coming up for a vote. So this is basically to try to sway some public opinion in their favor. And I knew both the guys, and I talked to them extensively and got a feel for what they wanted. And then I, let them read it and oversee it before they send it to the newspaper. But I had to try to speak in their voice. That's what a content editor is looking for. Also, things like, is your character. Your character has a certain voice, a certain style. You basically, you produce this character out of thin air. You introduce them to the book. And if they are a drunken, loudmouth, foul-mouthed, alcoholic, takes no prisoners character in chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but around chapter 14, 15, suddenly they're baking cookies and they've become a teetotaler and they have a swear jar, your content editor is going to be like, whoa, what happened here? And is there a reason? Is there a good transition from what happened at the beginning of the book to that chapter? If there isn't, content editor is going to ding you, and they're going to say, hey, you changed your character. I had something happen in Ghost Dance Judgment where I wanted to have this romantic scene. I had built it up for most of the book where two young people it was young deputy Jim and the girl who he was kind of sweet on, who was named Constance. And Constance Stapleton, she was Maud's daughter. And I wanted the two of them to go right out of town and up into the mountains and have a picnic and then have a discussion. And then some things would happen that would, pick up this plot in the story. But I wanted them to have this quiet little romantic interlude. And my editor, Greg was like, this doesn't make any sense. You have all this stuff happening in town. There's all this danger. It's fraught with danger. This army of desperados is riding into town any day. And they're riding up into the mountains by themselves to have a picnic. That just didn't sound right. And I got a little bummed out about that because, when you're a writer, you're like, well, it's perfect. You just don't get it. But no, you have to learn to trust your editors. And Greg was very trustworthy. Greg never really led me astray. I can't recall any time he ever did. I loved working with Greg. It was a lot of fun. And so I changed the scene and it came out better. And it made more sense internally. It had an internal logic to it that the original scene didn't have. That's content editing. So basically, you're reading through someone's stuff and you're looking for internal consistency. You're looking to follow the plot. If you're reading it, you get lost and bogged down and stuff, then probably you need to tell your author that they need to do a rewrite or clean some things up or clear some things out. So that's the first step, is content editing. So you read first for content, and then you go back and you start looking under the hood. The car looks real pretty, and you're asking about where you got the paint job done, and you're asking about how's the steering, and you're asking about the leather interior, and you're asking about how this little ding get here in your back panel. That's your content editing. Then you lift up the hood and you start looking at the engine. You look at the guts of the car and you're starting to figure out what's going on there. Is everything working the way it's supposed to be? And that's when we start getting into line and copy editing. So next time we're going to talk about line editing. And I'm excited to do that. I hope these are helping out. I am hoping by the end of this week, I'll be deep into my edits for Ghost Dance Judgment, and I'll try to share some of that with you. I've looked over what my editor has sent me, and a lot of it is just questions like, why is this way? Or did you mean for this to be this way? And again, that really falls more under content. I think that my editor has already cleaned up an awful lot of the line and copy edit issues before she ever sent me this. But we'll touch base on that some too. Congratulations to Jennifer for winning the book. Thank you all so much for entering the contest. Those of you who did, means the world to me. I am very excited about the Queen's Road series. I'm looking forward to starting on the Queen's War. I hope I get a chance to do that next year. I will keep you posted on that. I think that's pretty much it. I hope everyone has a great evening, and I will talk to you again on the next video. Everybody take care. Bye.